The Chargers' boots are made for limping, and that's just what they'll do. Yet another scribe takes a stab into the Dodgers' postseason pitching philosophy. And James Harden, he really shouldn't be the Clippers' big target before training camp. We'll explain. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelinos Morning Report. So it is September 23rd, 2023. I am back in Salt Lake City, and as you might tell, I am in a little bit of a better hotel this time for work, which is great. And we know it's better because they're giving out free pens. The free pen is almost enough of a get that it makes you forget you're sitting in somebody else's ejaculate. It's all right. It's all right. We're in good mood here today. Let's talk LA sports. If you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And comment, because there's always good stuff to talk about when it's LA. Now, before we go through the news and notes, look at the scoreboard. Freddie Freeman collected his 200th base hit of the season. He went 2-4 with an RBI, but the Giants defeated the Dodgers 5-1. So be it. Great slate of games today. San Francisco and LA gets down again at the Ravine at 7. Clayton Kershaw is 12-4 with a 2.52 ERA. Ross Stripling, a former Dodger, is 0-5 with a 5.40 ERA. Fifth-ranked USC is playing Arizona State tonight at 7:30. You know, Alex Grinch has used 55 different combinations on his defensive line so far. Absolute craziness. 22nd ranked UCLA is at 11th ranked Utah today, up the street at 12:30. This is Dante Moore's baptism by fire. Now, we talked about this game last night on Friday Night Chalk Talk. Go through the first 10 minutes where we broke down the Chargers' defensive miscues in cover 6, but then you'll find out about what's going on with UCLA and Utah. And I do have some later notes to add on in today's clip as well. LAFC is facing Philadelphia at 4:30. That is a rematch of last year's MLS Cup. And I got to tell you, even if you don't like soccer, you really might want to consider watching that one. I'd call it must watch. Start off with the Chargers. As predicted, and by predicted, I mean my sketchy, unprofessional, incomplete, lacking amount of understanding of athletic injuries. Austin Ekeler is missing Sunday's game in Minnesota with an ankle injury. Now, we talked about it over the last few days, how normally when an athlete gets injured, they will say there's two types of ankle injuries. One keeps you out 2 weeks and another keeps you out probably a month. Brandon Staley, though, talked about seeing how it will go for the next few weeks, which kind of tells you it's going to be more than just a 2-week ankle injury, wouldn't you say? The funny thing to me is that means actually that Austin Ekeler could miss every Chargers game right up until the bye in their season, which is ironic because that means neither Austin Ekeler or Brandon Staley might not be able to survive the bye. Am I right? Am I right? It's a troubling time to be a Charger. Linebacker Eric Kendricks, he's going to miss Sunday's game too. He's got a hamstring injury, and that sucks for him because he came over to LA from Minnesota. He wants to face his old team. Joey Bosa is only going to play a limited number of snaps. This is not exactly a prime time to be wearing a bolt on your hat, right? And by the way, on Friday Night Chalk Talk, going back to that clip that I posted last night, if you're a Chargers fan, I highly recommend watching it because we break down the cover 6 defense, which I believe has been critical to the Chargers' 0-2 start. They're getting torched every time they go cover 6. It's really important to watch that clip to try to find out why the Chargers are now 0-2. Let's move to the Dodgers. So far, I've read 4 stories from 4 different scribes who claim to have the inside dope on the Dodgers pitching plans in the postseason. 4 scribes, 4 stories, 4 claims to know what's going on. 4 different ideas. Way to go, fellas. Way to go. Now, ESPN's was the latest. And I will give them credit. I will give them bonus points for originality. See, when Clayton Kershaw came back, the scribe noticed that even though Kershaw looked great, he was only getting about 4, maybe 3 to 4 innings. He'd throw like about 50 pitches, and then Roberts would come out with a quick hook. So he's thinking, the scribe is that is a preview of what the Dodgers are going to do in the postseason. That starters are going to get super early hooks to keep them kind of fresh. And in other cases, you're going to have an opener, as they like to call it, a reliever opening the game, then sticking in the starter for about 3 or 4 innings, and whatever it takes, just matchup on top of matchup, just stacking it up, just trying to get to that 27th out, right? It's going to be like this monument to micromanaging. So much micromanaging, it's just going to create this Tower of Babel. And then right at the top of the tower is going to be a flashing number 27 in terms of the number of outs you need to get to win a baseball game. Either that or you're kissing your own ass goodbye in the first round like last year. Now, is the ESPN scribe right? Is he? The reason I bring this up is because we do know that Dave Roberts said Emmett Sheehan, who's been a pretty decent starter, will likely be used in long relief in the postseason. So wouldn't that lend a little credence to the ESPN report? Starting with an opener, or even Clayton Kershaw for 3 innings, then giving the ball to Emmett Sheehan to get you through the 7th. You tell me. Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports says James Harden still wants to be traded to the Clippers. Now, that's great. I'd sure love a steady diet of nudes from my wife, but I'm not getting that either, you know? I mean, whatever, James. You're just going to have to live with having pissed off everybody in Philadelphia. Well done, James. Well done. That didn't put Ben Simmons into extensive therapy, now did it? But I have to tell you something, if you are a Clippers fan, I wouldn't be too disappointed about not landing James Harden. There is a belief that there is a bigger priority on this Clippers roster, and it's more conventional than just, say, adding another superstar. It's power forward. Last year, that position regressed no matter who the Clippers threw out there. Now, originally, it was supposed to be Marcus Morris. He started the year because he was their traditional power forward, and he's still physical. But his shot started to decline as the year went on. He's 34. He just doesn't have the energy to necessarily play starters minutes for an entire season and keep his stats up at the same time. So then they tried Nicholas Batum. Nope. Robert Covington. Nope. None of those ideas worked. And by the way, Covington is the youngest of the bunch at 32. Now, going into this year, unless the Clippers try to figure out how to land a power forward in a trade, Morris is going to get the first shot to do this all over again. But again, his numbers started to go south as the season went on. Now, Tyronn Lue, the coach, he's admitted as much. The Clippers cannot sit there and get too young at power forward. They can't afford to get too young anywhere because that might disrupt their flow. Quote, the Clippers are, quote, the oldest team in the league playing, unquote. So again, because you might have been thinking about rookie Kobe Brown. Not ready yet in the eyes of Ty Lue, I would imagine. Now, for its part, The Athletic is forecasting a trade before the season for a power forward. Maybe, but I'm not sure. I'm not hearing anything that says that there's smoke to fire to any available power forwards out there. Just saying. If it matters, the Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase believes quarterback Joe Burrow will sit Monday night against the Rams with his calf injury. And this matters not just for the Rams' chances of winning and potentially staying in a playoff race, But Cincinnati is 0-2. Going 0-3 does not give you a good shot at all of ever making the NFL playoffs. And by the way, if Burrow sits, his backup is Jake Browning. Now, if you watch a lot of Pac-12 football, you might recall the name Jake Browning. He played for Washington. But Jake Browning has never completed a pass in the NFL. Also, sort of with the Rams, some dude who calls himself Mad Dog out in New York is pissed. He's been making a bunch of headlines in a variety of newspapers on the East Coast. He is pissed because the Rams kicked a last-second field goal against the 49ers, and he's claiming that that cost him his bet of $10,000. To which I say, who the hell is a Mad Dog anyway? Why is this guy getting all this press? I mean, what makes this idiot so special? Don't these scribes realize that every sports talk radio station has a clown who's named himself Mad Dog? Who cares if this jackass lost $10,000? We know he's a jackass because instead of saying, "Hi there, my name is Mitch," he's like, "Hey man, I'm the Mad Dog," right? If you're stupid enough to give yourself a nickname, and a weak one at that, like, "Oh, I'm Mad Dog, I'm the coach, I'm the sports doctor," you deserve to lose your retirement fund. You deserve to have your house put into foreclosure over a made field goal. I have no empathy for this. If you're thinking of going into sports talk radio, pardon me for freestyling here for a moment, but if you're thinking of going into sports talk radio, could you at least do me the honor of being creative with your stupid nickname? Right? Use history as your guide. History had great nicknames for some of these figures. William the Conqueror, William the Bastard, Vlad the Impaler, Radu the Handsome. You know, think about William the Bastard. William the Bastard didn't go up to his boys in Lower Normandy and say, "Guys, I've been thinking, would you mind calling me Mad Dog?" I mean, seriously. Somebody's about to ascend the throne of France and he wants to call himself the coach. Really? You guys need some better nicknames. Straight up. UCLA's center on the offensive line, Duke Clemens. And by the way, unlike Mad Dog, Duke Clemens is a hell of a name on the offensive line. Duke Clemens tells the LA Times that the offense would like to take pressure off of Dante Moore. Coach Kelly, quote, likes to say when you go on the road, you've got to bring defense, a run game, and special teams. So we're looking to run the ball and hopefully have some success, unquote. Now, I buy the defensive part, but the running game, I'm not so sure. The Utes were the number 2 run defense in the Pac-12 last year, and they've returned a ton of starters. My gut tells me is they can talk about running the football all they want, but Moore is going to have to make some big plays. He just is. LAFC has been fined by the MLS Disciplinary Committee for swarming the refs during its match in St. Louis earlier this week. It is the second time that the Black and Gold have been found in violation of swarming the refs. Manager Steve Cherundolo was fined, as was Giorgio Chiellini, Kellen Acosta, and Ilie Sanchez. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about the Chargers' chances now with bloody half their team limping around all over again. How would you handle the Dodgers' postseason pitching? If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. We talk LA sports here every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelinos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.